Welcome back to the Waking the People. I was starting with another show. Come on, Chad, knock off the dust and the rust, baby. I'm Chad Evergroshe. I'm one of the hosts here, and I've got my co-host, Joshua. I have you introduce yourself as usual so everybody knows who the man, the myth, the legend really is.
So welcome back to another episode of Waking the People. I'm Joshua T. McClendon. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Got to figure out Rumble. We're going to get our Rumble channel back going again, but YouTube's just a little bit easier right now. Leave a comment, leave a like. Let us know what you think about the show. We got the email in the descriptions. Lots of more videos are coming out, so we're going to be rolling. So we want to hear you guys. Give us some feedback and tell us what you think. Friday morning, you'll probably be watching this on a Monday at some point. Caffeine to the gills. As always, Chad, got ashwagandha root running through my veins. Got some good topics, so ready to talk about them today. One of these is a topic that we kind of already discussed on another episode. I'm not sure if that episode is going to come out in full, but it's going to come out in clips. So be on the lookout for that moving forward. We're going to do a lot more clips. So in that topic, it's really polarizing. The show is really meant to be a local Florida show, but there are some things that we just can't avoid. And so we must talk about them for a variety of different reasons, because if we don't, we could see some of these things spew into our own community. So the big topic right now everybody's talking about is, of course, the insurrection against ICE in Minneapolis, because YouTube, don't take it down, because that's what it is, okay? It's an insurrection. It's not protesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a series of questions for us. I'm just going to ask a question, and then we are going to, not only you guys, the viewers, or I want you to kind of do the same thing and really ask yourself what's going on. And then we're going to kind of dive in and discuss those questions. So a few questions that I have is what is really going on in Minnesota? All right, why are the same talking heads that preached stay home, stay safe, or mandated vaccines for the public to keep everyone safe now openly fighting against an issue that the majority of America voted for in 2024? And this really great. I can only preface this one way, and this is about not the people that are out there peacefully protesting, which I'm sure there's a percentage that are.
About 3 or 4.
Yeah, there's about 3 or 4 people with signs that actually are protesting. This is about the people who are actively disrupting law enforcement from being able to. Sorry. So I mean, and with the insurrection, it's just a constant goalpost changing. At first, it was all about COVID and restrictions and the media telling what we should do, and then it was all about pride and LGBTQ, and now we switched to the illegal immigrants protest and against ICE. So it's just going to be a continuation. We got to really make sure that the viewers are, again, think about the question: what's really going on there? What is really happening, and make sure that you stay informed on your own and do what research you can to better prepare yourself for what the media is going to throw at you in the future.
Well, yeah, if we want to add something else, since it's Minnesota and ICE, let's talk about the strategy. Because so with me, I'm always going to want to talk about strategy. When I talk about strategy, it doesn't guarantee that's 100% true, but everything we see going on is not reaction. It is strategized, and what you see is like people playing chess. The game may be won, by the way. And when you have a grandmaster of chess, once they make certain moves, the game may be won, and everybody is just watching, hoping that it won't go the way that the person won, or hoping for some other outcome. But everything is already decided at that point, because the chess pieces have a specific set of moves, and the other person has a specific ability to take moves. And you may, within your second move, the game's over, but people don't realize it because they don't see it. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, look that up on YouTube. You'll find out what I'm talking about. They'll show you how those things are. You can see the strategies at play, especially people that really understand chess. So we have exactly what's going on, right? So we have Minnesota, and then we have this thing going on where ICE and these riots, and they're like, oh my God. And yes, it started to hurt Trump's image, because they're like, well, this is Trump's Gestapo, and it's a PR war. It is. And the left has a lot of feminine energy. And feminine energy is also in psychology. Women are more likely to ruminate, and ruminating is consistently thinking about specific things that have emotional charge, typically. So not the exact definition, but to give you guys a general idea about what ruminating is. It typically creates depressive opportunities, things like that. Drama can come from those things because it's festering. So what happens, we have people that are involved on that side, they go by the feelings. They don't care about facts. They're constantly feeling. There's an entire chat system. They're using Signal to communicate, where they have a lot of these protesters
Very
are
organized.
on site. They're on shifts. They have code names. They have specific things that they'll carry with them to make sure that they're supporting obstructing ICE. There's a lot of stuff, and this has dispatchers. There's a lot of skills that are organized skills that typically you find in higher end organizations, and access to a lot of the things they shouldn't have access to, like, DMV records and things like that. There's a lot of people that are involved in this. It's not what you think it is. It's games of chess. Okay. So we have what's going on there. Do not forget that all of this craziness started after the Somalis were exposed for fraud.
Yes.
And that started to really open up. And the next thing you know, the news cycle went away from fraud, and they answered with their own little trump card, which their trump card was, riots.
Yeah.
These are inhumane people doing horrible things to these people. Well, people feel like what Trump just did, because this is after Trump talked to Waltz and he sent Tom Homan to Wisconsin or Michigan, Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
Thank you.
MSP.
I get those three states confused. So anyway, he sent Tom Homan, and they're like, "Well, it's Trump surrendering. Let me remind everybody of something that it's brilliant, by the way. Do you remember when Iran and Israel kept going back and forth, launching missiles at each other?
Yes.
And Israel's like, they're doing this to us, and Iran's like, they're doing this to us. And Trump's like, okay, we got to have a peace deal here. And if we don't reach a peace deal, I'm going to take action on this date. And he gave that to Iran. So, because we're allied with Israel, unfortunately, in some instances. And I would say gives them a whole lot of balls to fuck with the world when they're allied with us. And that's what you see them doing a lot of anyway. Yeah. But anyway, so with that, Trump doing his peace, or his changing things up and removing some federal agents from Minnesota. Yeah. Removing them from there was so that whatever the point of contention that they were gaining ground on in public affairs and the whole PR war, he took away the thing that they can use against him. And now it's like, you know what? We still have fraud that we're investigating, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, Tim, you're not going to be able to use the National Guard against us when we come in to continue to get this information. So, yeah, they're not looking good, and it looks like quite a few of them are going to be in some trouble. But I can tell you this: hopefully, if you got that much of our tax money, you owe us something.
Yeah,
you owe us a lot. And anybody who took tax money that shouldn't have received it, you owe us something. I don't think that's a one-way ticket back to Somalia either. I don't get it, and it pisses me off that we get crimes put on us, and we'll just be like, we'll just send you home.
We'll send them somewhere.
This is a vacation for you then. Come on over, enrich yourself, fuck us over, tell us we're dogs, tell us that we're going to work so that you can stay at home. Fuck you, by the way. We can do whatever it is that he wants, but us Americans, the white pigs, he said all kinds of nasty things about us. And I'm like, you're a fucking horrible piece of shit, and you will be removed. I guarantee you that you're not legal.
Yeah. They have no interest in assimilating.
Yeah.
They have no interest in coming to the country and actually
It's
being a part of it. All they want to do is take his, because it kind of makes sense from, that's how Somalia is. When you go to Somalia, that's really, it's not a civilized society like we have.
Yeah.
It is most of the time, like, let's say you want like a boat, for example, or something like that. Here, you want a boat, you just go buy a boat. There, you have to go and like find someone to make you the boat, and you have to be careful, because if not, they'll just steal from you. It's all all they do in that part of the world specifically is take.
Yeah.
So they come here and they expect that the same thing when that is not our culture. They see us as the bank. They see us as the money providing them, so that they can live the life that we kind of wish we could have. I wish that I didn't have to worry about my rent or groceries or my bills, and I could just live life and do whatever I want every day. But that's not how it works here. So
put anything and everything you want in your grocery cart before all the changes with EBT.
Exactly.
Live like a fucking king and don't pay anything into the system.
Yep. And just take from the system. If I stole from the system, which I have friends that have, if I stole from the system, they got prosecuted. The FBI knocked on their door. I don't see the FBI knocking on their door. It's kind of odd.
Yeah. My thing is this: is like, keep your integrity, hold steady, and understand when you're wronged. being in integrity about being wronged also means that you stay true to the fact you were wronged and you need to get justice.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying action to go out for violence. No, you get a press against these people that are elected officials. The reason why their culture isn't changing is through legal immigration. It was where you see a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm pro-Trump. You're like, how are you pro-Trump? You're Mexican or you're some other, first generation immigrant, but you're immigrating properly. You're taking the right steps. They're more likely to assimilate American culture, but still keep some of the accent of their own.
Exactly.
Right. They do their own celebrations of their birthdays or, whatever, quinceañera or whatever. Right. Like whatever their thing is, they do those, but, they still have assimilated. They understand what we stand for. They're here for the American dream.
They're bought in.
Yes. They're bought in because they took the steps to buy in. When they get to bypass that process, they don't know any better and they're not being made to know better. They're given their ghettos and their blocks and areas that they can live in, which the government will move them into. The same thing would happen in Minnesota and Ohio, Maine, and there's all over the place. In Texas, this has happened all over the place. They make these places. By the way, in Florida, there was a big Muslim thing. They were trying to open up their own city. In Florida, they got shut down.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so yeah. So as far as those things go, we have to have people go through the system properly so they assimilate to the country. Because we need to get people to understand and buy into the American dream, not how to scam the American dream.
Yes.
And we get a lot of people like from Somalia, we get people from Haiti, we get people from all over the world that are trying to scam the American dream, not become part of it.
And they can just go home. They have nothing to lose. They have a home to go home to.
Yep.
Americans, we don't have a home to go home to. This is our home. This is the only place we've ever known, only place we've ever lived. We have nowhere else to go to.
Yeah.
So big topic.
It is a big topic.
It's going to continue, I'm sure.
Yeah. But when we surface that fraud, we continue on that process. It cannot be let go. It can't. Because that's the same as if you're running a company and you find out somebody's been defrauding you in your company, but it's big enough that it's its own department and you got a bunch of departments and you're like, you know what, let me let it go. No business person is going to do that. It's worth the damn. And if they do, they will be removed. It won't be worth the damn. They will be removed. So it's just knowing this type of stuff is like, guys, we're not done. None of this is done. Again, my thing just goes back to the business side of things because look, the federal government, I got who I want in office. I've got a lot of the people that I want there, including RFK Jr.
Yeah, love him.
My man. Yeah. So we got a lot of the people in place. I don't need to put as much attention on what's going on and their decisions they're making because I didn't put them in place to be the CEO of a company that's so small that their minor decisions will destroy the entire thing. I don't have to fully understand everything. I'd love to, but there's a lot going on. You got a lot of bandwidth out there, and it's going to be challenging to understand it all. That's why I like talking about this stuff. But I will tell you that for me, I'm more focused on the business side of things because we got the right people in place.
Yes,
and I'm not going down there.
Pre-show, we were actually discussing how you could relate the two, how you could relate. So why don't you dive into that a little bit as far as what's going on in Minneapolis and some of that and how it relates to actually the business world in other ways.
Yeah, well, that's a big part of it. It's just understanding when you got fraud and then you got this. So, but when you look at it, it's so the relationship that we see with the things that are going on out there is we've got people lying, we've got people defrauding, we've got bad actors that are involved. Those are the types of things that if you wanted to destroy another company, you just send those types of people in. You get them opportunities to get into a company. DEI was a great example of how to destroy a company, but that's not because of other businesses trying to do it. I really do feel that's something from far up above us and above all of this stuff. So kind of like the people that are puppeteering it all. I'm not going to say like I know who those people are necessarily and that kind of thing, but I can definitely say there's businesses that are bad actors. The best way to actually work against this is to get focused on what's going to change your life and help you be informed as you're changing your life. Best way to do that is join in that American dream. So you get involved. If there's something you've wanted to do and you haven't done before, it's time to actually start understanding how to start a business and how to run one. If it's something that you are running a business right now, you can look at some things that are going on in the world and you can figure out, or at least in this country, and figure out how to plot your next steps. If you're not thinking about what's going to happen whenever all this illegal labor leaves the country, you're going to be putting yourself in a bad spot, especially if you're currently paying people under the table. Don't put yourself in that situation because these people they're being removed and they will be removed. They are starting off with the more violent people first, and we're going to see those leave. But that doesn't mean that you got a violent person and you got somebody that's not violent, but they're illegal, and they both get caught at the same time with ICE. Guess what? They're both leaving.
Yeah, they're both leaving.
They're not going to be like, okay, well, we'll come back for you later.
No.
No. They're going. They're going. So yeah. But as far as when it comes to the business side of things, there are certain things that are going on up there. If you had a significant amount of money given to your competitor and they didn't have to pay taxes on that money, and the only tax money that they paid is whenever they would go off and buy things, that's whenever there would be a recouping of tax, you would be out of business in no time.
Yeah.
They put you, that's the same as like trying to run a nonprofit against a for-profit. The for-profit's going to find challenges that the nonprofit doesn't have to deal with. As long as if they have the same marketing structures and all the rest of the stuff, but one is a for-profit, the other's a non, that nonprofit's got an advantage.
Yeah, which is why a lot of those Somali businesses they created with the fraud money for nonprofits.
Oh my God. And they have an ecosystem of it too. So they built it all out so it looks right on paper. But once you actually go to validate it, it's not validatable.
No.
And the worst thing for them, we did that, we'd be in jail the rest of our life, Capone style.
Today, I'd be in jail right now.
Oh yeah. News would be all over it too. White supremacists.
Yes. Yeah. White supremacists.
Is he straight? He's white. White supremacists. Put the gallows in front of his apartment. Let's go. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's the way they do it. Dude.
Yeah.
Every time. It's like a black guy that did it, and they're like, yeah, white supremacy. Because they don't tell you the race of the person right away when these stories come out. Now, if they tell you they're white right away, they might be.
They just lead with
it. But if they don't tell you anything, then it's probably somebody that's not. Like if it's undocumented. Look, if you tell me undocumented, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, no, you're retarded.
Yeah,
you're retarded.
Undocumented.
I understand the pathway of the thoughts that you're in, and I understand the emotional influx and all the rest of that stuff you're going to be dealing with because you've been loading yourself up with a bunch of nonsense. And undocumented is a newer term, where the older term is illegal immigrant.
Yep.
Even the great commander-in-chief.
Illegal aliens, where that was too. Sometimes I think that's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Illegal aliens.
Yeah. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, look, when people start doctoring language, they're trying to distract you or soften what they want. And they're going to, when they take away from one thing to make it softer, they're going to make it harder elsewhere. But anyway, so back to it. When you have an ecosystem, and by the way, the economy is an ecosystem itself, it's an ecosystem of finance and or business itself. It's like how we exchange goods and things like that. What's valuable, what's not, we're moving through like that and how we survive. You have this massive amount of money. And I forgot the last amount that we were told.
As far as the money stolen?
The money stolen so far, what they believe. It's in the billions. They came back, the news, the media, again, your enemy. But when I say your, I mean the American people. The enemy is the one that's lying to you, speaking with forked tongue, right? That's almost all of mainstream media. So when they tell you that the Somalis in Minnesota spend $340-something million in taxes, or $700 million in taxes, whatever. It was under $1 billion in taxes. What they failed to tell you is how they actually paid that in taxes. And the way that they came up with that is through the paying money for items. When they would spend the money they got from us, there is a tax value that goes through that spending. That's how they came up with that money. It wasn't on the front end. It wasn't on the earning side of it. It wasn't on the distribution of it. None of that. The only piece of money that they got in tax money and revenue was from them spending money. You go to the gas station, you pay a tax on the things that you get. You pay a tax on your gas.
Sales tax.
It's a sales tax. That's it. So when they tell you that these people spend this much money, it sounds like a lot until you realize that's just because that's from them buying stuff with the money they got. You're already doing that.
Because they got so
You're
much
doing
money
more
to
than
spend.
that.
They have so much money to spend.
Imagine the advantage that you would have, Josh, with your business if you didn't have to pay taxes on anything other than just when you paid or something. Which is really, it's like the idea of a flat tax.
Yeah.
If we can get a flat tax at that level,
I'm in.
Where it's just what we currently are paying in taxes, man, on spent cash, or transactions. If that's all we actually had on a flat tax, man, I'd be so in for that. I don't think there's an American on this country.
Yeah, they all vote for it.
That wouldn't vote for that.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's an unfair advantage. It is a way of misleading you. And when you want to start your own business, you can't run it that way. You won't belong. I guarantee it. So there are things that are occurring right now that'll just get your blood boiling. If you understood this stuff, you can sit back and go, yes, motherfuckers, man. I can't believe that they're taking advantage of us like that, or we're being set up to be taken advantage of by the people that are elected into positions.
Yeah, like Ilhan Omar.
Oh, Ilhan.
How is she worth $44 million? Someone explain that.
That happened recently too.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a mystery. I wonder how she got $44 million. I wonder where that came
People are
from.
like, let's just send her home. I'm like, she's committed crimes.
Let's send her to jail.
Exactly.
Did you see her fake assassination attempt?
Oh my God. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I'll tell you some of the most obvious pieces of that. If you're not familiar with what happened, some guy got up in the crowd when Ilhan Omar is speaking, and she's up there. Her brother wasn't there holding her hips, which was interesting and surprising. But you know, because that's his sugar mama. Allegedly, I don't need a Somali lawsuit on me. Oh my God!
Don't take us down, YouTube.
Our attorney would show up and be like, "I'm the captain now." I'm
Don't worry, I got you covered.
I'm one of the smartest Somalis. I got 87 on my IQ.
They're chewing on that root. You know that root they like?
I don't know.
It's some root. It's almost like caffeine that they use there consistently.
God, yeah. Fucking, it's probably the raw cocaine.
It probably is.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, with that whole thing, look, the whole thing fucking stupid. Okay, I've seen theatrics where, you know, people have done something like Jesse Smollett or Juicy Smollett or whatever the fuck his name is. The guy, right from the very beginning, I'm like, nothing about this story sounds real. Nothing. Noose around your neck. 2 white guys beat you up middle of the night when you got Subway with you, Subway sandwich, and this is MAGA country, but you're in Chicago. Yeah, that's MAGA country.
Yeah.
Sure is. And 2 white guys. Yeah, okay, sure. You know, and then the whole fucking story. And then the guy didn't even get in trouble because no one's above the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody. If you're one of the plebs.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there's plenty of people above the law. Just get elected, but have the right handshakes in the background. Anyway, yeah. Fucking assholes. But so yeah, so with her standing at the podium, if you guys aren't familiar with it, she's standing at the podium, she's giving her speech, she pulls an AOC, which is like starts getting real passionate.
Kind of goes
yeah, yeah. And then this guy jumps up and he pulls out a syringe that has a yellow liquid in it, and he screams out that oh shit, Homeland Security,
DHS.
Yeah, DHS needs to resign. Nome.
Kristi Noem?
Kristi Noem needs to resign or needs to be impeached. One or the other, whatever. Screams that as he rushes towards the stage and he sprays that liquid onto Ilhan Omar. Okay, and then her security rushes in, but she's running after him like fist up in the air, like she's gonna hit him. And I'm like, okay, all right.
No fear.
Sure thing. Yeah, somebody just tried to like assassinate you, and you're gonna go punch that motherfucker in the face.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, at 100 pounds or whatever her little. Never mind. Anyway, so yeah, and then she's like, then goes back to the podium and starts talking. Okay, look, even if I don't know you, but you spill a liquid on me.
Oh yeah, I'm checking it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to just be like, well, let me see if my skin falls off.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see if this doesn't leach into my body and kill me. No, nope, I'm going to go back and keep talking. No. By the way, that guy, apparently multiple people in his family have pronouns in their bios.
Oh yeah.
But he's supposed to be a MAGA.
Did we even find out what the liquid was? I don't think we have.
But she went back and kept talking. Probably evaporated into non-existence.
Probably it should be a good. It's actually very inappropriate because that was definitely staged, and it should be a learning experience. What if that was a real scenario? I would not be cheering if something happened to her. I don't like the lady, but it's just again, it's like creating this environment. It was an idea that I'm sure they created to just show how dangerous that the right wing is. And now there was an assassination attempt again, like we were talking about before, to put a smoke screen on what's really going on, and that's the money being stolen. Right. Anything to cover up what's really happening, they will throw at us.
Yep. And also to agitate their base even more.
Yep.
They went after Ilhan. Man, fuck it. I'm just going to go after and get whoever.
Yeah.
We already got him. We have one guy in Ohio that if he gets elected as AG, that he said he's going to put Trump to death for crimes that he's committed, and he'll make sure that Trump is prosecuted when he comes out of office. You know, like,
it's getting out of control, man.
Yep. And what happens? The people that are purposeless will follow en masse. So that's why you won't find me in atheist groups anymore.
No.
Purposeless human beings, man. I'm sorry, I got, still have some good friends that are atheists, but I can't think of any of them that actually have like solid purpose in their life without to do something really good for the greater good of all. They'll say it, but their actions aren't there.
And that is their religion. A lot of those people, that is their ideology. That is their religion. That's what they live by. They think that they're on the right side of history. They think this is a revolution.
That's why you don't need to pay as many of them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're radicalized. And you know what? They'd rather sleep on a couch or, in an alleyway as long as they can keep up to what they consider to be a revolution.
Exactly.
They think they're on the right path. So so as far as that assassination attempt, okay. Now the other, again, more of the same consequences. Look, if people get activated now, because they're like, look, they celebrate people trying to kill President Trump,
or celebrated when
Charlie Kirk got assassinated. And there's ways of justifying it. By the way, the kid that's in jail, did you see the stuff when he was in court when they did the initial hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he looks like he's definitely, even if he didn't do it, he's a false flag. He is definitely, he's proud.
He's in on it.
Yeah, he was proud of what happened. No, he is glad that what happened. You can see in the way that he's behaving. If you watch the videos, not little clips, but you actually see length of what he was doing, how he behaved. So this guy he's not upset about what happened to Charlie Kirk. He feels that it was the right thing to do. Well, we'll see more.
Yeah.
And we don't see the right escalating anything.
No.
All we escalate is, when I say we, my conservative side, all that we actually want is just law and order.
Dialogue, true dialogue.
Yeah.
If you have and this is, again, every content creator that's on the right I see is there when they're out and they're asking people questions. It's very different than when the lefties are out there asking questions. The lefties bring emotion, they bring violence for the majority of the time, they bring anger, and all the conservative people normally try to do is, hey, well, then state your position. If you think Trump is a fascist, explain to me why you think that. And that's it. We want dialogue, which is what Charlie Kirk really stood for to begin with, was open dialogue, open conversation, that, explain your position, and that will hopefully lead to a world we can actually have true dialogue again. But that's not how these people play ball. They play ball by almost just like brute force in many ways. And it's just covering up and trying to gaslight you, all kinds of different tactics to get us off our rocker and to actually get away from the real problem, which is that people just don't talk anymore.
So when you watch, like, the way debate is actually, like, how you do debate is you do it to score, right? And you do it in a way that you want to. So if you have like a moderator that's actually scoring you, then it, like, the same as like boxing or anything else, there's point systems in it. And they'll tell you who won the debate based off of how the points are scored, not just by the way the audience responded.
Like a sporting event.
So exactly. And that's actually what debate was designed to become, was, like, you wanted to be able to get so aggressive into a topic that you can highlight specific things and you can show how faulty they are. You can show how effective they are. You can show a lot of stuff depending on the person's position and understanding of that conversation. So we have that, and they use specific things like ad hominems. That's an attack on somebody. That's a personal attack. That is not based on the subject of their argument. It's just a personal attack, right? Non sequitur, shifting the conversation topics to get away from something because your argument's getting weaker, so you digress or you divert that conversation away from that topic. So they use these things as scoring, so that who understands who's winning and losing a debate. When you see these people that are getting activated, they have lowered their conscience level, that where they're resonating on reason, they've lowered it to the point that they're surviving on emotion. So they tune into the TV, and look, both sides do it, the left and the right. I've been sending emails back to Trump's campaign when they send me crap too. And I'm like, guys, you were writing this stuff exactly like the left. I'm disappointed. Please stop sending this stuff to me.
Very true.
Oh, am I still with you? I just got your fucking email earlier. Stop it. Yes, I voted for you.
You're already in. Okay.
Yes, I voted for you. I will absolutely, I am 100%. That's another thing, dude. Oh my God. All right. So to finish that, Ilhan Omar, I don't believe a bit of that was true. I think it was completely staged. So as far as that goes, what she needs to go through would be the same as anybody else. If you've defrauded us, that doesn't mean you go home first. That doesn't mean, oh, shame on you. Let me just, shame. Get on the plane, go on home. We're going to seize your assets. What? She could transfer that money off into offshore accounts, and it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and then we're going to let you go. No, you're held to the same standards. You commit a crime in this country, you have the same standards of punishment. When you serve your time, then we'll send you home.
Yep.
Yep. There needs to be skin in the game.
Yes.
Versus, oh yeah, you can commit all these crimes, and at worst, they're just going to send you home.
No, yeah. What
Like,
happens?
wow, I get to buy a
commit-
house 6 times better than what I had when I came over.
Yeah, exactly.
Really? Let's play, baby.
Yeah.
And then you come up with the idea of emboldening yourself to actually get online and tell the white people that they're their dogs.
Exactly. Like if you commit a crime in another country, or let's say you're in another country and you commit a criminal crime, you ask Maduro how that goes down. You know,
Yeah.
we bring you back. So no, it's not simply just sitting at home and so more to come with that topic. Lots. It's going to continue. It's
No doubt about it.
yeah, it's never going to stop. Pretty much. There is a topic that I think is right up your alley, Chad, especially with your recent business developments. I found this one a couple days ago. So right now there's a crackdown on illegal immigrants trucking with CDL license in Florida. The Florida Senate Transportation Committee voted 6-3 on Tuesday to advance the Senate Bill 86, legislation that would require law enforcement to detain commercial truck drivers found to be in the county illegally or in the country illegally, compound their vehicles, fine owners $50,000, and ban the motor carrier from operating in the state. The bill passed all along party lines, and this really stems from an incident. This was back in 2018. You probably remember it. I know that we remember it when there was a legal immigrant that was operating a truck, and he made an illegal U-turn at a toll. Remember, right in the middle, he made a legal U-turn with an 18-wheeler. Okay, and made a U-turn, and subsequently there was a family of let's see, there was at least 4. There were several people that were in the minivan, and as the semi-truck made a U-turn, essentially, you know, they crashed right into the back of the large semi-truck, and everyone in the car died.
Okay.
So
well, I know that there was one of those that happened last year.
Yes, yeah, there's been
was
several
one.
incidents.
So, and that's not an uncommon thing. So there's a lot of people that have these licenses. By the way, if you have a CDL, you immediately, especially if you're doing cross country or you're doing long distance hauls and you're working regularly, you're middle class, guarantee it, because of the income of people that are doing that. But it's a great business direction. Unfortunately, automated vehicle stuff like that will be getting into that sector because it's big money, so they're going to do that quickly, as fast as they can. So it's not necessarily the safest direction for people. Anyway, so as far as that goes, yeah. Hey, look, did you catch what Josh said there? Is that the motor company, the company that employed the illegal immigrant, will be banned from doing business in Florida?
Yes.
I am right now telling you guys there's going to be a lot of companies banned from being able to do business in the state of Florida for that reason. There will be. And just you guys wait that are in the trades and you have people that are employed like that. If you have these people in your company that are illegal and you really like them, you better tell them how to get legal very quickly and help them become that. Or don't complain when you get put out of business, you're carrying heavy fines. It's coming. Accountability is coming. Trades is bad about it. They love that labor thing because in all big businesses, in all businesses, your most controllable expense is payroll. So what happens is they cut payroll. That's why you see people get cut end of year. Christmas is coming up. You see people, some of them get laid off Thanksgiving timeline. Yeah, you had Thanksgiving dinner. The next day you find out you lost your job. You know, you get pink slipped is what they used to call it. And that's been going on for a very, very long time. Nobody's truly safe and stable.
No.
The best that you'll do is what you can create for yourself. But anyway, so because you don't know the decisions the company you work for is going to make.
No.
And that decision very well may put you out of work, the same as Amazon's doing with their factory workers or their warehouse workers. A lot of them are going to be losing their jobs. They've already laid off a bunch. They're going to lay off a bunch more as they see that system come true. So there's business here. There's work available. There are people that are dangerous to be here because they don't speak our language, they don't abide by our rules, and also, let's face it, if you've been pushed up to the head of the line, the mentality and thinking there too is that you are an exception. So if something happens, they'll probably let you go. I've seen so many drunk driving videos where there's somebody in it where they got into an accident, they caused it, they're drunk, they don't even speak English. They're not from here. They're just here basically partying, especially in Florida. Oh God. Oh, yeah. So vacancies are coming, guys, girls. If you're looking to start a business, it's not a bad time to do it. If it's in the transportation sector, the only advice that I have when it comes to that is going to be watch out for what happens with automation. Was it Huawei? No, Weiwu. Oh shit, I forgot the name of the company now.
There's been a lot over
There's
the
a
past decade or so that are really trying to create that automated truck service.
they have, but they do have a car service, and I believe it's California.
Okay, yeah.
I forgot the name of it. But
we have a bus system here too. I think it's in St. Pete where it's actually automated bus. I think there's only one single. I think it's like OUI or something like that is the name of the company, but it's almost here.
What concerns me about all of this is that there are a lot of people that are out there to do a lot of jobs. Now they are saying that the country is we've actually passed the critical stage when it comes to population. So as far as population growth, now we're actually at a crisis because we don't have enough people yet having kids that could replace and solve the replacement rate. We've dropped below replacement rate, which means that now as people die, there's not enough people to come back in and to service the population, because we have diversified our population so much that we have people that work that are not supposed to be working here. So they don't get tracked the same and all of that. They get moved out, then we have a bigger vacancy. Now, there are a lot of people and a lot of Americans that will work. What we do need to do is focus on retraining in the fields that are not going to be affected by AI. Now, and I do believe that may require some sort of legislation to prevent AI from affecting specific fields in a way of replacing people. But there are certain fields that, look, if you're data processing, I'm sorry, a lot of people in data processing are highly educated. They typically will have also a lot of student debt, stuff like that, paralegals, attorneys, insurance. There's a lot of things that this stuff is not going to be needed. Accountants, there's a point in time, accountants aren't even needed. And look, I love accountants. I've loved a lot of my people that I've worked with. And I got to tell you, it's all data processing. And AI is really designed for that. So, and it's very simple for it to take that over. Have all of these people leave. Yes, they're at labor levels. Now, there's some of them, the H-1B visas, people like that, they're coming in skilled labor. They're highly skilled labor. They come in, they're still planning on sending them in. I understand as far as a business move, that's a long-term thing, because what they need to do is they need to develop and incentivize our American people to train in the fields that currently we don't have enough people in, that would set us back as a country if we lost all of those individuals.
Almost like a job corps. Job corps? Something like that would be great to bring back.
Yep. And that's actually what my company is doing, something similar.
Okay.
Is you develop and raise people for businesses and help them develop into much better career-centric people with, even potentially owning the business themselves, or at least pieces of it. So, so there's other individuals leaving because of the replacement rate. They say is a good thing having illegals come in because of these high populations with low economic values, like the Middle East, so a lot of South America, places like that. High population density, but the GDP is not very high there. So they don't really produce a whole lot. So they have a lot of labor abilities. Here we have a very high GDP, and we have the manufacturing and or the sustainability of all of that manufacturing, or the creation of what's there as far as the GDP is gross domestic product, which is the domestic product, which is what we send out. We create and we can send it out. So people buy from us. So we're going to have a lot of people that are going to need to work. It will suck if somebody's an attorney and their skill sets bring them in at management level of some laboring company. It's going to be upsetting to them because they're going to go from $300,000-$400,000 a year if they're decent, as far as their annual income, and they're going to be down at 50, 60, 70,000.
Plus the loss of education costs. Going to law school is not cheap.
Yeah, but a lot of them lawyers, they will typically climb the ladder pretty quickly. So, but as far as like working as an attorney, it will give them advantages within specific companies, because a lot of times you see lawyers climb to the top of a company's pyramid pretty quickly, or hierarchy, just because they're typically highly intelligent. people. Well, actually, I say that's actually the bar is set. I think the bottom of the bar on attorneys is like 134 IQ. Something like that. It's like that's well above average.
Politics as well.
Well, that's why you see a lot of attorneys get involved.
Exactly.
So, it's arguably the whole corruption that we're dealing with is that, people went from being farmers as Congress and Senate and or other representatives to attorneys getting in, and they became lifers. Instead of serving a term as a civic duty and going home. So it should be still looked at as jury duty. But you got elected for it.
Exactly. Like you don't even want to do it.
That's how it was originally. Because the people are away from their farms.
Our first president,
almost all of them were farmers.
George Washington did not want to be president.
He had other responsibilities. But he gave up some of those responsibilities and let the stress of that come on with the fact that he had to run the country. So
Greater
interesting
good.
enough.
Stepping up for a greater good. That's what this country needs more of. A
Yep.
purpose.
Yes. Purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purpose.
Well, as you know, with me, 8 areas of maturity.
Yeah.
8th area is purpose or spirituality. It's one and the same, really, to me. But yeah, if we don't have it, you get restless, and then you end up with, I don't know what to do. Religion used to fill that place for a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wish that more people were more religious, just simply because societies work better, especially Christian religion. Not to say that others couldn't have other beneficial things, but unfortunately, you get a lot more radicalism when you get into Islam. You get a lot that you actually can get more radicalism in a lot of them. Buddhism's not peaceful.
No, yeah.
Well, most of us know Buddhism as being peaceful, but there's a thing called the Talon Tigers.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're suicide bombers that are Buddhists. So just be aware of this stuff, guys. There's a lot of stuff. But anyway, to come back to what's going to be important to you, especially relating to that story, I'm glad to see it. I'd like to know who the 3 that voted against it are. Because those are our representatives.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Florida State. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, and that's the stuff that Josh and I are probably going to have to spend a little bit of time in Tallahassee too.
Yeah, we'll take a little road trip.
Yep. Yeah, I just came back from Miami. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Not that far.
Yeah, not at all. So yeah, so as far as it goes, yeah, I'm glad to see it. Every state should be doing that because of the safety of citizens. As well as, look, if you're a company that's hired these people and you're paying them less than you would pay others, you should be in a lot of trouble.
It's another way of stealing.
Oh, absolutely. You're corrupt. You've taken an opportunity and made an unfair advantage against your competition by paying these people less and putting public safety as a non-concern.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see some investigations into that.
Absolutely.
Florida shouldn't actually just ban them from this. They should also investigate them.
Yeah.
We can still sue them.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
state of Florida absolutely can sue these companies.
Exactly.
And that's what should happen. If you've been bad actors, you know what? You're going to have accountability. We should have a degree of forgiveness for these small businesses that, the trade companies and things. But I got to tell you, if you're in the trades and you're hooked on this margins, you got to figure out how to get hooked.
Time to give them up.
It is time to give them up. If you're used to having 60% margin on things, it's not likely going to continue.
Yeah.
If you try to take that much of your clients, I promise you, my companies won't.
Yeah.
My companies will run a closer margin than that. We won't turn those costs over. And when you try to jump up, sorry, you're losing market.
Yeah, exactly.
You try to jump up against a company that we have and to our customer base and try to sell them a roof, to make up the difference so you can keep your 60% margin. Or hire some of them really high.
Yeah.
Roofing companies have a lot of margin because they don't require as much.
Yeah,
You don't need brick and mortar with roofing. You just have to have the licensing. And then just get people to do the damn job.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of these trades companies, if you're a landscape company and you got one person on the payroll, but you got a bunch of people working, you're going to have to explain that.
Yeah.
And I'm an advocate for the trades. I love you guys. Absolutely. But I would start right now getting rid of that mentality and that model and start hiring people and paying them through the proper channels.
Especially with the Florida governor race, and if it comes to fruition and James Fishback gets in office, he's going to be hunting for y'all. Hunting. And now again, I think a lot of people are going to vote for him. So again, that could kind of deter, and people will start, I'm going to vote for the other side just in case. But if that be the case, Ron DeSantis is already like that way in a lot of ways. But if this race turns out the way I think it's going to turn out, a lot of those companies are going to go out of business, and it's going to open up for people like Chad and myself to actually take that revenue and do a better job as well.
Yep. Better market share.
Yeah.
See, the unfair advantage right now is if somebody's illegal and they're paid under the table, already they're working for less than what they'd have to pay somebody who is on the books. So the other is, if they get injured, they're not going to report that. They will take that injury and work through it. They'll take their time off, whatever it is, but they will not report it, which means that company does not get a hit on their workman's comp. So their insurance will stay the same. They also aren't paying the payroll taxes for workman's comp on the front end because there's nobody being claimed to work, so that you don't have to pay payroll on that because you're not giving them payroll cash. So if you guys are used to that, look, understand you're going to have to reduce your workforce or increase your payroll by getting people on that are legal. Don't even pay Americans under the table. I'm telling you, it will not work out in your favor, especially if you get found out. The illegals are first, but once they start opening your books, you better believe they're going to start opening up quite a bit, and they're going to ask a lot of questions.
Mhm.
So if you want to be able to save your butt, you need to already treat it like a methadone clinic and figure out how to get the hell off that heroin margin that you're used to. So a lot of these, unfortunately, some of these services will go up in cost. Landscape will likely see an increase in labor costs. So it will be a cost to the customer because the margins are pretty low. And once you add in the cost to actually have these people properly employed, the margins are going to get smaller. And you're not in business to be nonprofit if you're a for-profit. So it's got to change. We will see some changes there. We won't see a lot of AI in that in a long time. Currently, the robots that they use are residential, so they're standard commercial. They're not commercial use. The ones that are commercial, they have not shown positives when it comes to their abilities to actually do the jobs. So it's easier and more effective to just have somebody out there mowing the lawns and doing that. So that's that part. There's not going to be a fencing machine in the near future. I haven't seen anything come up on technology for that. So that's another good one. Pool service.
I was about to say, they tried it. There are some pool cleaners that are automated. Well, there's other designs of pool cleaners that are automated anyway. But
your chemistry is the issue. They're not supporting. And once they figure that out, that one could go pretty quick as far as an industry. But that would be for the people that want to pay the premium to have those types of robots.
Exactly.
So it's still going to be cheaper, overall, to have a pool person than it is to actually have a system like that. But I haven't seen one like that.
No,
It would take that the system actually sampled the water as it cleaned and then injected the right chemicals that would be stored in it. That's actually one that we should probably look at.
Yeah, well, I mean, I worked in the pool business for years, and I don't think, because each pool's different, each time of year is different, so I think there's a lot of time, like a lot of things to calculate with that. The summertime, you're going to run through more chlorine than the winter time, and can the machine calculate that?
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can sample, but the sample doesn't always depict what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks.
Well, it just keeps sampling. Every time it cleans, it would just take out a sample of water. Anyway, I'm actually building a freaking system already right now as we talk about it. And I've never thought about this one before. I need to get those people behind me. Like R&D, here you go. This is your thing. You know what? But I wouldn't want to put somebody out of business, but I would definitely make that one of those, like, look, we could put you on a service and these people come by and fill it up and make sure that the system's running right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeps these guys working, and they'll advance up a little bit. So they're not humping around chemicals everywhere. Then do it at all. Just go over and fill the containers. Anyway, all right, now that we're giving somebody a great business
exactly.
innovation there. Okay, so as far as that goes, I'd like to move on to the next one. We're running out of time. You have nothing else for yours?
That's it. That's all I got today.
All right, so the continuation to the conversation. I have spoke with a friend of mine who is a personal injury attorney. Her name is Robin Nightingale. Fantastic attorney. She lives in the Pinellas County. She represents all over the place though, but still, she lives here in Pinellas County. She consulted my friend that was in the accident.
Okay.
By the way, the company, the insurance company, did everything possible to try to get her to sign away her consent to be able to go to court, right? So look, I am not a litigious person. If an accident happens, the first thing that goes in my head is not how to get rich. It's not that. Is everyone okay? Everybody's safe. If everyone's safe, everyone around the incident safe, then it's the environment. Is it good? Do we have a leak in the stuff? How is the vehicle? How are those things? Like, I think through a process like that. I don't think, who are we going to talk to sue these people?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so to catch everybody up, if you missed it from the last time, immediately within less than 2 hours after an accident, a friend of mine that was involved, and she was rear-ended, she was sitting in a light, person ran into the back of her. She's been in pain, still in pain, by the way. It's happened, this is in the second week. Daily discomfort, it's pretty bad. So in it, within 2 hours, she received a text message to have her set up her account and to consent to the terms and conditions of it. And in this company has it right on the picture, right on the image, to say, I consent, or I agree. It's on the bottom, big normal thing. Nearly everybody's going to click it first before even reading it.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Just click through it to see what's next.
If you look on it, it says that you will be waiving your rights to pursue a jury or to pursue any kind of court actions for this incident. So you're giving away your consent to do this. Now you're at the mercy of what they want to pay you for it. And if the bodily injury only goes up to, let's say the bodily injury is $25,000 and the incident caused an injury that cost you over $100,000 in order to be treated for it. This isn't ongoing long-term. This could be a surgery. So it could very quickly be a surgery.
10 years down the road.
So you took an ambulance to the hospital from the scene of the accident.
That's
you have the
$500
services and all of that took place, and then afterwards, you were sent home. Then you had some follow up. Next thing you know, the bill's over $100,000. If their bodily injury coverage is $25,000, you have a $25,000 potential payout. There's nothing else in that policy that's going to help continue paying you to meet the $100,000. They want you to consent to, okay, you have medical bills, we'll give you $1,000. Don't worry about it, just go away. If you take that $1,000 and you find out that you need more treatment because it didn't go away, but you accepted it after checking that box and all of that, and they offer that to you, they'll get it to you incredibly quick, because that is solidifying the fact you're not going to have rights to go after them later. So they can give you 1,000, they can give you 10, whatever, heads turning, all this stuff. People are like, wow, I got some money, whatever. And they don't realize, yeah, you also have this, you've got this injury and you're going to deal with it the rest of your life. Here's what happens that most people don't know. If you need to pursue legally and the insurance company has got you to consent away the right to go to court to try to sue them, and now you got bodily injury at maximum and they paid you that, you're going to have to sue the person that hit you, the person that has the coverage in the first place. In order to try to make the difference. We have insurance to protect us from that.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm getting at with how incredibly corrupt and unethical these insurance companies are? This is a very large insurance company. So, and two of the biggest insurance companies in this country use these types of practices. You guys have got to be aware of this, man. Look, I myself know that I have in the past just said, I don't want to fucking read that. I agree. Move on, right? But that could be something like, okay, well, there's a video game you're playing. You have to agree to the terms and conditions. And damn it, I just want to shoot stuff. I just want to do cool shit in the video game. I don't want to have to read through this thing 3 hours later after wearing my eyes out. I got to get my glasses out, and then I can start playing in a fatigue state rather than get to it, right? They're using similar situations like this. If you're in pain, accident just happened, your vehicle is damaged, you got a lot going on, you're probably still in shock because you're almost guaranteed to still be in shock if you realize you've been in an accident. A lot of people go into the shock state. They don't know when they're in it. They don't know when they're out of it necessarily. So you're sitting there and then you get this, and now it says, in order to move forward, you have to click yes. You have to accept the terms and conditions in order to move forward. Then so that's what happened to her within less than 2 hours of the accident. Then she received 4 more messages directing her back to give consent. She could not move anything forward until she committed to it. So consented to that dismissal and waiver of her rights. So that was that. Then the next day, she received 6 messages from the appraiser telling her she needed to set up her account so that they can go ahead and get the photos and everything uploaded so they could take care of her car. But she had to go back to that thing to set up the account, which required that she consented not to sue the company in the event that she wanted to sue them. It is nasty, dirty games. Okay, that's a total of 11 contacts, all trying to, within 2 days, trying to get her to go back to that. Plus, she had 2 voicemails, and they weren't even voicemails. They were an automated AI system telling her to go set this up. So a pre-recorded message or AI, I think it was an AI system. Anyway, so it's just telling her, go set this up so we can move this forward. So, hey, I'm not a litigious person, but I advised her to speak to Robin Nightingale because she's a personal injury attorney that I've spoken to and have been in networking groups, stuff like that. She's awesome. We'll put a link to her site on this episode, on our website. So with her, she talked to her and said, this is not uncommon. You're very smart for not clicking that. Her case is moving forward to repair a vehicle and everything, and also to make sure she's covered on the medical treatment she's already had and what she sought out. She's got that taken care of, and the attorney's taking care of that. I'm not going to tell everybody you need to go lawyer up, but I am going to tell you that if that's your option, as soon as you get into an accident, you better have a personal attorney, a personal injury attorney available. Because if that's what they're going to do is send you out this, it is absolutely in your best benefit that you at least can talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Because look, obviously the attorney's going to likely talk you into getting them under contract. But as far as I'm concerned, if you have a major injury that's going to take a lot of money to help treat you, you're going to be a whole lot better off that you made that phone call than to sit there and commit a consent to actually giving away your rights and then let them walk you through the process. So Another thing people don't know, often they are supposed to have this built into the formula, but you need to be the one that follows up on this. This is all about making sure that you are protected. If you have a crappy policy or you're working with one of those people, you may want to reconsider having them as your policy, because they're going to do everything they can to minimize how much money they pay out. Once they're locked out clean and clear, then they can sue you if you're actually involved in the accident. And by the way, if you were not fully at fault, but you were partially at fault and they had a percentage value, that very well may be, they may say, okay, well, you're 60% at fault. Well, now you have to pay 60% of the bills, or they'll come up with a judgment that gives that, right? The insurance company will, once they can, as soon as they can, and be like, hey, we paid out max, we're not paying anymore. And if they're locked out because of that consent,
which is probably what it is,
now their attorney can come after you.
Yep.
So
got to pay attention to stuff like that.
it sucks. Like, this is bad.
Yep.
You know, here's another one that most people don't know this. There was a very large property insurance company in the state of Florida, very large, national. Do you know that we used to have a law that let insurance companies give you non-excuse-based rejections? They didn't have to give you a reason for actually denying your claim.
No.
Yep. They had a law where they were allowed to not give you a justification why they declined your claim. No, your claim was declined.
It doesn't surprise me with insurance.
And when they do that, that's like basically stepping into a casino.
Yeah.
And then the casino's like, we're going to give you all this great stuff. Or with this, if it's property insurance, especially homeowners insurance, if you have a mortgage, you're required to have homeowners insurance if you have specific types of loans.
Yep.
And I can tell you right now, if you have those homeowner insurances, you're paying those premiums, and then as soon as you make a claim, you can't even find out why they declined you, let alone get it approved.
And then drop
you. And then they drop you when you keep pushing it. You know, it's like, it was a rigged system, like stepping in the casino. But this particular casino doesn't even have you, like, you don't have to go up and exchange chips. You walk in and they just take your wallet from you.
Yeah.
And they'll give it back to you when you go to leave. Be like, yeah, we took a little something.
Yeah, we took a little off the top. Here's
Yeah.
I thought I won 1,000. Nah, so you get $50. Sorry.
Yeah. You actually owe us. Yeah, you owe us a little. So that's these are the types of things that absolutely infuriate me. Because it's all like, the people that are going to suffer the most are the people that are supposed to be protected. And this is both parties. Look, people make mistakes. And accidents happen. And just because you got into an accident and you were at fault doesn't mean you're a bad person. It does mean that you need to fucking straighten up when you're driving.
Yeah.
You know, pay better attention. Learn why the accident happened. Don't just be like, oh, I was a victim, oh, whatever. No, take some responsibility. But at the same time, we pay insurance coverage for that reason.
Exactly.
This is unethical capitalism. It is out of control. Everything about last year needs to be exceeded by this coming year.
Yep.
Or by this year, end of year, you better made more money or you're out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So at what point in time do we finally get to the point where, like, you know what, you're stuck paying for it, but you can't use it? Like what was going on with the homeowners insurance and that very large company. The only reason why I even know this happened is because the president of Florida for that company came out and stated that that was their practices after they let him go. I'm like, first off, thank you for telling us.
Yeah.
Second off, you participated in it. You're a piece of shit too.
Exactly.
But thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like you a little more than them, but that doesn't mean we like you.
Exactly.
Yeah. That just means we don't hate you.
Exactly.
But we don't think you're a good person because you were doing it too. Yeah. So that whistleblower came out like a jealous ex-girlfriend that wants to ruin the future for the ex.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the ex is doing all kinds of wrong things. Yeah. So you drove the Ferrari and you lived in the big house, and now that he's actually got a side piece that he made his main piece, you're a little upset about it. So now you want to try to ruin his life.
Exactly. Take that moral high ground. Well, this is what they were doing.
I get it because I'm emotional.
Exactly.
Do me emotionally. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned with this stuff, guys, I get really fired up over things that I see as an injustice. How do we better prepare ourselves for this? The advice that Robin gave me, because I'm talking to her, I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is horrible. She goes, there's nothing you can do. I'm not trying to get my friend to do a class action lawsuit or nothing like that. I'm just saying, hey, how could we do anything with this? Could anybody start a lawsuit against these insurance companies for doing this? She goes, no, that's the way the system is set up right now. The only thing you can do is start putting pressure on your Congress people or the elected people in office that you can actually either get in because they're going to do something about it, or people that are in that want to stay in, make sure they know that's a problem for you.
Exactly.
You know, and the more people that understand this, the better, because that's when we can start seeing change. Because my God, it will absolutely make you like it's seriously like, you know what? I am not an advocate for what happened to the guy from United Health. Not an advocate for what me, Johnny, or whatever the hell his
Luigi or
whatever. Not an advocate for that. But what happens when you have people that are in pain that can't get away from it, they know who the person is, or at least they know somebody who's responsible for it, it makes it dangerous.
Yeah, that climate gets created because of that kind of thing.
So we need to get away from that. And the best way to get away from that is to bring responsibility back to the individuals.
Yep, deliver.
Now, if you're working with a company, by the way, I actually am and will be canceling my policy. I won't be renewing that policy with that particular company that is, you know, that is the representing the person that hit my friend. And I won't be going to the other large company that uses the same tactics.
Yeah, same.
None of them need to be rewarded. They need to be punished for these behaviors. So they're already doing very well. Why is it the people that are so caught up in big businesses,
I know,
the ultra elite and wealthy, not paying their fair share, and they're willing to deal with this type of stuff? Like, they'd rather get caught up in social justice issues than to actually go and get these insurance companies to change their behaviors.
Yeah.
You know, by getting laws put in, by having representatives that actually have balls that can do it.
Exactly.
You know, so anyway, all right. So there's my little rant about that. Just keep that in mind. If your policy, if the company that is representing you has that as one of their methods, think very closely and consider heavily whether or not you'll keep them. Because if something happens, you can be sued because the insurance company says, hey, we paid out our max.
Exactly.
So you're gonna have to take it up with, you know, your insurance company, and you'll have to take it up with, you know, the person that hit you. Because in that situation, that your attorney will advise you which direction to go if you do need to get, you know, some sort of payment or something for the injuries that you got out of that accident. And they'll tell their people to sue your own insurance company and sue the person that hit you.
Yeah.
A lot of times people that hit you don't have a whole lot.
No, they don't.
You know, and that can ruin a person's life.
Yeah, it can.
Where these insurance companies just insulate themselves from getting their bottom line hit a little bit. That really is not a bigger scheme at all for them by comparison to the person that is trying to make a living. You know, so yeah. Anyway, keep it in mind, people. All right. You have anything else for the show?
I think that's it. That's all we got for today.
Yeah.
Good show. Things got animated. Things got emotional. Don't forget, we do have our email that is going to be in the link. So if you have any questions about business or other topics or anything at all, don't forget to send us that email at wakingthepeoplepodcast@gmail.com. Again, hit that subscribe button. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the show. And as always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay consistent.
Yeah, join the middle class with me. I'll get you up there, I promise. If you got questions about any of this stuff too, send us an email. Ask us. Put it in the comments. Flag us. Get us to go. You know, we'll work with you. We'll figure out the best that we can. You know, or if there's a topic, maybe you figured something out. Maybe you're the next Nick. What's his name? Nick,
Oh, can't say that.
Nick Shirley?
Yeah, Nick Shirley.
Are you the next Nick Shirley? Going to be out there doing some investigations, or James O'Keefe, or, you know, these people, you know, hey man, we're not doing investigative journalism, but hey, we will be on site. Keep that in mind. You keep that up, because, you know, when you see these people on overpasses and stuff like that out there, you know, pushing their idiocy.
Exactly.
You very well may see us do episodes on those people too. And whenever we do these, you know, when we have public hearings with some of these elected officials, yeah, we got some accountability we're going to bring. So if you haven't already subscribed, do it. You know, show us your support. All right. Till next time. If you do have any questions about starting a specific type of business, by the way, let me know. Put it down in the comment section, or you can send it over in an email, and we can talk about, you know, good starting points if you're in that stage. Or if you're already in the stage and you want to look at a scalable option or different perspectives there, I'll be happy to talk more about that as well. Just let us know what you're interested in. Don't want to just start some sort of TED talk and not actually know what the hell we're talking about.
Exactly.
Specific to what your interests are. So, all right, till next time. It's Chad, Josh. This is Waking the People. All right, we'll see you. Let's get up to something. Let's get up to it together.
Let's do it.